When I first started on TikTok, I would get those hate comments and they
Right.
kind of bothered me. But then I remembered that there was a I hate LeBronJames.com. He's LeBron James. What does it matter if y'all hate me? Because all these hate comments, y'all literally drive my engagement up. So you're actually helping me out. And it's kind of funny. It's like, you know what? Y'all are sitting behind a little computer screen and y'all are just mad. Y'all have some personal issue if you feel the need to comment something negative on somebody's post.
Welcome to the Millionaire Mentorship Podcast. I've got a very special guest, actually, my first female pro golfer, the number 25th most influential female golfer in the world. Welcome to the show, Jeni Brooke.
You. Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Thanks. Hey, listen, as somebody who's been playing golf aggressively for the last 3 years and talking to somebody who just started playing golf, I got to ask you, what's your handicap?
Oh gosh. You said I was a pro golfer. We have to clear that up. I'm not a pro golfer. Um, I don't want
It sounded good.
yeah, I know people might be like, "What? She's definitely not pro" if they look at my swing. But so my handicap is not the best and it's like a 14 right now. I'm
That's
working on
pretty
my
dang good.
swing. I'm getting lessons now. I'm changing some things up. I just switched my grip, so maybe it'll go down this year. That's the goal.
Yeah, so talk to me about like I was, doing my research on you, and I know that you started playing tennis at a very young age. I think the age of 4. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about, obviously at 4 years old, you're probably not going to the store and picking up a racket, so that might have been come from your parents a little bit. Can you talk to me a little bit about your tennis journey and your sports journey, Jenny?
Yeah, how I got into that. So my sister, my mom had me like way later than all my siblings. And so my sister was in high school and she was playing tennis on the tennis team. And my mom had me in like ballet and I was like, I hate it. I don't want to come back. I want to play tennis. And my mom was like, you know, no, you want to do gymnastics, you want to be like cheer, gym, whatever. Because I was really good at that. And I really wanted to play tennis. So she went out, got me a racket. And literally the first time I picked up a racket, I hit like every ball. It was just natural to me.
Really?
So yeah, so then I started competing at like 6. It was really funny to look back at the pictures because I'm like on this side of the net and I'm like down here and I'm playing like 12-year-olds. And so then by the age of 9, I was number 10 in Texas.
Number
Super.
10 in Texas.
Mhm.
That's a big state too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But then I broke my back when I was 13. And it took me out of that level of playing. I tried, but the serve was what killed me. And they wanted to give me surgery, but my mom was too scared. She was like, that can be her option, her decision when she gets older. And now I'm too scared to do it. But
I think you got a smart mom. And
yeah,
yeah,
she's
like certain
awesome.
too many people, they're like, oh yeah, surgery is the right way to go, but the reality is like the people who are pushing it are making tons of money for doing it, and there might be a better way to fix yourself up, and you can't undo surgery. I've had
Oh, yeah.
a couple of them that I wish I never had.
Yeah.
And that, so bring me back, Jenny. How did you break your damn back?
So, my mom was driving, but we were sitting at a dead stop in a construction zone, like, and this truck, huge truck, and we were in a little car, this huge truck with a massive grill just rear-ended us going like 40 miles an hour. So, to this day, I still have back problems, but I get injections that hold me off, every couple months. So
Is that
it's
like
helped me get
cortisone
through.
or Toradol,
Yeah.
or what do you get?
Yeah, cortisone shots.
Nice. That stuff's like a miracle drug.
It
Like
really is.
I had a doctor offer me that in Mexico, and I was like, "Yeah, I want it." Like, I don't
In
even know. Like,
Mexico.
I've never taken it. I was like, if I can get some, but he didn't have any at that point in time. I was like, when I come back there, I'm gonna look him up, and I'm gonna get some cortisone shots because I just know it's like. I mean, I would love to hear from somebody who could tell me like cortisone, because every doctor I've told me is cortisone is great for you.
No, they're awesome. Like it's like you just totally forget about your pain. Like I'm not in pain when I have my shots. When they start to wear off, I'm back in my pain and I'm like I need shots. But I try to take breaks from them too because I don't want to, break down my bone. Because that's what they say can happen, but I don't
So,
know.
Jenny, tell me what like how'd you get into like the whole female golfer slash influencer. It seems to be very popular. Paige Renee, I believe, was the first woman to start it. And now either Instagram knows what I like, but it's got all golf and female golfers on my feed like all the time. It's like, I'm like, okay,
That's
you
what they
know.
do. If you pause or you watch a video, and you stay on it, now they're going to start pushing those videos to you.
Yeah, for sure. They know more about you than you know about yourself, right? Like everything that you were doing that where you're mad or the way you swipe. Yeah, they know a lot of things. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
what got you to that space?
Yeah, it was really random. So I was just out at the golf course one day alone, doing my own thing. I golf alone a lot, actually. Um,
I do too.
it's really peaceful. I love that. And so I just set up my camera, like, down very casually, just like propped up against like a water bottle. And I recorded myself golfing. And I just posted on TikTok. And this is like back in, I'm not sure if this was like 2020, maybe 2021. And TikTok was like really, really popular then. And that video just popped off. And I was like, huh. So I did it again and I kept getting really confused and responses. And then I kind of took my levels, up a notch and started like really getting into it. Then the tea in the mouth became a thing. And that was a complete accident because I literally just had it in my mouth in a video and that popped off. And so I just ran with that. So TikTok is where I started off. It wasn't like I never even like was ever really scrolling through TikTok and saw golf videos. Like I didn't even know golf babe thing was even like a thing. And I didn't know about Paige at that time either when I had started the videos.
Oh,
So
really? So
yeah,
what
really.
got you? What got you interested in golf?
So I was at Top Golf with my family and I was just smacking drives and this was before anything. And people were coming up and they're like, dang, like what college did you play at? And I'm like, okay, that's a stretch. Y'all are like, is that like a flirt or whatever? But I'm super competitive. So I was like, all right, that did it. Like now I got to go get lessons and I got to be good at this because my whole life coming from being so competitive in tennis, like my whole life, since I was 4, waking up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. and training, eating a banana every day that my mom forced me to eat. Um, I just like always want to be really, really good at what I'm doing, whatever it is, especially sports. Sports is my thing. So
Do you have any other sports that you like to play besides golf and tennis?
I can throw a mean spiral with the football.
Nice. Yeah.
um, any sport. I like every sport. Pickleball's
Are you a
fun.
Cowboys fan?
Oh my goodness. I don't really pay attention to them. They've let me down so many times that
Yeah. I
I
don't
just
blame
gave
you.
up on them. But I am a fan of the Cowboys golf course. That's like my
I was going to
favorite.
ask you that next. Tell me, have you played there?
Yeah, yeah. So I play there all the time. That's where I shoot a lot of my content. Everybody
Really?
recognizes that course. Yeah. So
Okay,
I
so I
play.
know Dallas all right, but I've never played at that golf course. I used to date a girl in Dallas before I got married, actually.
Oh yeah.
And so I commuted there, did a long distance relationship there for a while, and I got to know the area pretty well, like uptown.
Mm.
And that was really before I was into golf. But I actually played with a guy there, funny enough, who was really good at golf, who was one of my clients at that point in time. And I have played at a few courses in Dallas since then,
Yeah.
but I don't. I've seen the Dallas Cowboys Golf Club on the internet, but I've never been there. Where is it in Dallas?
You have to go because it's not like all the regular Dallas golf courses that are really flat. I mean, it has elevation changes, and that's what I love.
Right.
I just the flat golf is so boring to me. But it's in Grapevine. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so right by the Gaylord. So it's a
Yeah,
really good spot where they're
I know where that
located.
is.
Yeah. And then Grapevine Golf Course is like right, down the road. And they kind of like line
Is
each other.
that Beltline? Is that Beltline Road? Is that what it is out there?
Um, no,
Okay, I know Beltline kind of runs the whole gamut out there, but
I don't think it is. It's on Fairway Drive.
well, that makes more sense, right? So when you're out, so you start filming this content, people start going off on you, and they're like just intrigued. Obviously, your viral video. How viral did your first one go?
My very first video that went viral was that one where I had the tea in my mouth and I captioned it, a baddie making a bad birdie. And that one almost has 1 million on TikTok. That was
Wow.
the first one that ever went like really, really big. But I had a lot that hit over like 300,000 on TikTok. But that was my biggest one. That was my first one that went really big on TikTok. And then I have one on Instagram that's hit 3.6 million, I think is what it's at now.
That's a lot. And you've got a ton of followers out there. I noticed on all your socials too. So besides golf and influencing, how else do you fill your time, Jeni?
So what do I do? I'm remodeling a house. I'm remodeling my house. That fills a lot of my time because I'm picking out all this stuff and I'm having to keep on these contractors. But I'm also a mother. I have a 5.5-year-old son, Luke, and he is basically my whole world, pretty much,
Yeah.
besides golf. He comes with me on a ton of my golf trips, so I always bring
Does
him
he
with
play?
me and my nanny. Yeah, he takes lessons, like little group lessons on Saturdays.
Yeah. It's amazing how far golf has come and how and I will call it like the top golf effect because that's what pretty much got me back into it again too because especially so when I moved out to Kansas City from Vegas, I lived in Vegas for 15 years and I just moved out to Kansas City in 2021. And when I moved out here, I was like, I'm gonna get good at golf. And that was like, I'm gonna before I leave, I didn't know how long I was gonna be here, but I'm like, let's assume I'm gonna leave here 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, by the time I leave, I'm gonna be good at golf. Well, I'm not good at golf yet, so I better stay, right? And
Playback.
so yeah, but like the top golf effect of just like going to have a cool place to gather, have a cool place to hit the ball. Because the hardest part with golf, and this is like I'm going to call it a 20-year golf career, but I've been like not active for 17, if that makes any sense. Like, because the first time I started playing golf was in college.
Oh,
And then I didn't take it seriously. And then I took golf lessons right before I moved to Vegas. And I had a decent swing and then I never found it again. And I've tried harder in the last 3 years to get good at golf than I ever have in my life. And it's been the most difficult sport. So you having a
yes.
14 handicap is pretty impressive for only playing 3 years. What kind of a practice routine? What kind of a like it's tough. Like to like I just figured out my grip yesterday. I'm like, oh wait, I'm like I don't know
I
if this
just
for you, but
switched my grip like literally yesterday.
well,
It's
there's
funny.
so many things. People think that golf is easy. I will tell you it, and I would say I'm athletic. This is probably the toughest
Yeah.
way to like contort your body and get it to swing the right way. It's just
Yeah.
really. I think girls are better at it naturally too.
Are you serious? I don't know about that. Maybe. But yeah, you're right. Golf is the toughest sport out of everything, and that's why I got so addicted to it because I couldn't, like the first time I played it, it wasn't like I went out there and I could just go, play tennis. Like the first time I played tennis, I was like, it was natural. Like it was so natural to me, the moves, everything. Throwing a football, whatever. But like golf to me is like almost like an art. And I've never been good at art. You know what I mean? Just the way
Yeah.
you got to shape and place balls. And so it is really hard. As far as my practice routine, yeah, it's very random. I'm a very ADD, ADHD person,
Yeah,
and I'm
I got
so
the same
late.
problem.
Like I'm always kind of late to my tea time. So like more than 50% of the time, I don't even get to warm up, which makes me mad because it's like then I'm spending like the first 3 holes warming up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
it. It's important to warm up for sure in golf. It's one of those things
Yeah.
like if you, and sometimes it's like really weird because you can have an amazing warm up practice round and then you can shoot it like in the water on the first hole, or you can have a crappy practice round and then drive it like 300 yards on the first hole, and you never know which one you're gonna get.
That exactly, like that's me too. And golf is so mental for me, especially because, like you said, like I will be out on the driving range and I will just hit these perfect shots. And then I go
Yeah,
out to the golf course and then you're thinking differently because you got to place it in a certain spot. You got to, okay, now I got to hit it over here because the flag's over here. And so you kind of lose that swing that you had on the driving range because you were more, laid back out there. You weren't placing it to a spot.
yeah. So I wanted to kind of transition to like the whole social media thing. You got an amazing amount of followers,
Thank you.
and one thing that I think a lot of creators and influencers like yourself that I've heard from, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm just saying like people that I've talked to in the past, is they struggle, they get all these followers, but it's like, how do I monetize this, right? So have you cracked the code on that for yourself yet?
Well, kind of. I just let brands reach out to me. I just made a media kit, so I'm gonna start reaching out to more people. I don't like rejection though, so I'm gonna have to get a
Oh,
little
you
bit.
don't?
No, I can't take it. So I'm gonna have to
Why?
get a little bit out of my comfort zone. I don't know. I am so stubborn and I am just so I don't know. I don't like no. I don't like being told
Yeah,
no.
I think that when I look at rejection as that, I love it. Like it's to me, I like confrontation and rejection, both of those two things.
Those are two things I do not like.
Yeah, I figured that's why I said it. I was like, if she doesn't like rejection, she definitely doesn't like confront. My wife
Mhm.
hates confrontation.
I will avoid it.
For yeah. So with the followers, you haven't like, are you offering them coaching or anything like that? Have you gotten into that whole realm, or is that on the forefront?
Am I offering them coaching?
Yeah, like for ball strike, and I know there's a lot of online golf coaches.
Um, no, I haven't thought about that honestly because I need a coach. I
Yeah,
need
but
to
there's
be
some other people that like, when you're on your journey, it's like
yeah,
whether it's your golf journey or whether it's your real estate journey or whether it's whatever journey you're on, there's like stages, right? There's beginning where I don't know what the hell. I mean,
right.
I still don't understand a lot of golf. Like there's still a lot that I don't understand, but I understand way more than I did 3 years ago.
Right. And it
And
was so
so,
overwhelming at first.
right, but you're like a 14. You're probably better than 95% of all golfers. So arguably, you could probably train a lot of people. Even though, I mean, Tiger Woods has got a coach. I'm sure he could train a few people, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe I should. Or even offering like little tips of like golf course etiquette, like things I didn't know at first, that would have helped me, you know.
Let's talk about that. What are some good golf course etiquette tips that we may not know about?
Pretty obvious one that I didn't know it at first, like at all. But when somebody's like putting or they're at the tee box, just don't zoom past them because I've done that. Or this one really annoys me. I'm not sure if this is like an etiquette thing, but I think it's just kind of rude. When somebody pulls up just like right next to you, like when you're teeing off, that really bothers me. I feel like they're just right, you know, on me. And it's like you could kind of move back a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, what else? Don't like talk really loud, if you're waiting behind somebody or if
Yeah.
they're hitting. Because I've brought my mom out to the golf course with me before, and she'll be on a phone call, and I'm like, Mom, shh, like you can't do that. Like
Right. Right.
I'm waiting to pass
Zip
these
it.
people, and she's like, Yeah, what's going on? I'm like, Mom, it's too loud. Like this is not the tennis court.
Yeah, for
Definitely
sure.
wear a collar.
Oh, 100%. Some of those outfits that y'all are wearing these days, they just have a collar and that's about it. It's like, so I know I definitely know that, just from watching several people, it's like something that they talk about. Yeah, the collars, like now where I play golf in Kansas City, Missouri, you don't got to wear a collar. You don't
Yeah, what
gotta,
is golf like out there? What is the Kansas City golf like?
So living in Vegas for the last 15 years prior to moving out here, obviously they've got a lot of nice golf courses and very affordable golf courses if you're a local. Kansas City has very inexpensive golf. It is very inexpensive to golf here. You could like I have a membership that I have like 7 different courses. It's $200 a month. All I can play,
Is it
all I
Arcus?
yeah, it was through Great Life, which is now owned by Browns. Brown Golf Course bought Great Life. So I think they have like 200 or something golf courses across the country. But yeah, I pay $200 a month. All I can golf. They have nice courses. They have good courses. I would say you have a lot of rolling hills here and a lot of like ponds and stuff like that. It's not as flat as Texas. It's not as sandy. And the one thing I definitely like about playing golf here versus playing golf in the desert is that if you hit a ball out here into OB, you're definitely not finding it. You're not even going to try to look for it.
Yeah.
In Vegas, you might spend some time trying to look for it, even if it's OB, just because you can see it there, or you think you can find it. I've played a lot of. I would say Vegas has got way better courses than we do out here, but Kansas City has got some decent ones as well. I don't think I've played anything that's really blown my mind out here. Like in Vegas, I've played golf with a couple of my friends. I've played Dragons Ridge, Southern Highlands. I've played, a lot of really nice courses. But in Kansas City, I haven't played a ton of nice courses, but I've played a few courses, and there's few and far between out here. But it's golf, right? You're playing, so who gives a crap?
Yeah, who cares? It's better than anything else. I love it. I love it more than anything. It's just so relaxing out there. It's so peaceful.
Yeah,
It's
you
great.
mentioned you play alone. Do you feel, for me, when I play alone, I feel like I rush too much.
I
When I'm playing with someone else, I tend to slow down and think about what I'm doing more. Do you find the same thing?
Yeah, I do find that to be true. But usually when I play alone, I really make my tea time like at a weird hour. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the website and I'm making sure there's not like going to be anybody behind me so I can take my time more.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I play better golf alone
Yeah,
than when I'm
that's
with
crazy.
somebody
I do the
else.
same thing when I play golf. I'm like, when is the last tee time
Yes, that's me.
that people are going to be behind me? Because I want to just listen to my music, and I might want to hit two shots.
Right.
I might want to play player A and player B, because sometimes player B is way better than player A.
I've done that before. I've played two balls on for like 9 holes, and it was like, man, why couldn't have I been player B? Because my player B was like a 32 that day, and I was like, okay, now I don't know how that happened. Nobody will ever believe me on that, but it happened. But it was player B, so it doesn't count.
Jenny, who's your favorite golfer? Who do you look up to?
Um, I really like Ricky Fowler is just a fan fave. He's fun.
Yeah.
But I like Jordan Spieth too. I think Jordan Spieth is cool. But maybe I'm biased because I've met his dad and I've played with his dad um, at the club I get lessons at, and just like such like so down to earth, really humble, person. And I'm like, you know what? I like you. I like your son. And Jordan Spieth has just always been like when I first started golfing, I just remember hearing Jordan Spieth. So just kind of ran with it. And when I
Yeah.
went to the US Open this year, I was really sad because I wanted to follow Jordan Spieth, but he didn't make it into the final
Who'd you
days.
follow?
I ended up following, I was kind of bouncing around because it's kind of funny because I had my stroller with me and my mom came with me. So we're at the Los Angeles Country Club and we're like walking like up these hills, down these hills, lugging a stroller. So it was just kind of like, who's following on this hole? I followed Minwoo Lee and so
He's got an awesome swing, huh?
yeah, and it was so funny because my son, he was being a little grumpy, which I mean, I can't blame him. He's there all day.
Yeah.
And turns out this lady who's like, "Oh, here, let me help you with your stroller. Here, take some of these snacks." Turned out to be Min Woo Lee's mother, and she was strolling my stroller for a little bit. I mean, she was super humble too, super down to earth. I loved her, and she was like, "You need to. We live out, in the Dallas area too. We should golf sometime." And then I got distracted and I never, followed through with that. But
Well, if Minwoo's listening right now, Jenny would like to play around with you. So hit her up
yes.
on
Or your mom,
what's that?
or your
Or
mom.
your mom. Yeah. She'd rather play with your mom. I'm sure that
Yeah,
she's a good
she's
golfer
cool.
too. He's from, what is he from, London?
Minwoo Lee, I don't know where he's from.
He's
I
got a
don't,
British accent, right?
I don't know. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't
I have
really,
no idea. Yeah, I'm not. I don't keep up
yeah,
with a lot of the golfers and anything like that. Like occasionally, I'll watch one of those shows
no,
on
me either.
Netflix
Hmm.
about them, but yeah, I don't keep too much. So what are your plans for the future in like social media, golf, and the alike? What do you have any big plans?
Yeah, I just want to take it as far as I can go. I want to be big. Like I told you at the beginning, I'm super competitive, so I want to be, you know, this year I don't want to be number 20 on the list. I want to be in the top five. I mean, anything's possible, anything can happen. You just got to put the work into it. I want to get more brand deals, more sponsorships, work with big names,
What
so
would be an ideal brand
that's the
deal for you,
goal.
Jenny?
Um, I really
Like a dream,
like Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren. What about
Whole.
like a tea? Don't you want like a tea deal too, right?
Maybe I am coming out with some of my own sometime soon.
Maybe you are.
It's on the it's on the agenda.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm there. You can get like your own customized golf balls pretty easily from like whatever that website's called, like golfballs.com or something, I think.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to do was like start hitting up golf ball companies and seeing if they wanted to like collab or do something like that where I could come out with my own ball. But yeah, um, I've just been itching, wanting more out of this and wanting to come out with my own things because I'm advertising all these other people's brands and
Yeah.
things, and it's like, why am I not advertising something of my own? You know what I mean?
I think you really should. Yeah, you really should have something or some product or some resale service because like you have so many followers and it's like, even just and I know because I've been approached by several people for their brand and it's just like when I get the conversation about the money, I'm like, I mean, I got other things like my own products to sell. I'm not interested in talking about your product. And I would think that based on the level of followers that you have, I think they would probably buy your products as well. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Um, in terms of, you said take it to the next level. Is that looking like LPGA? Is that looking like live? Do you like visualize yourself getting that far?
You know, if I really if I really took it more seriously and I really practiced like every day, put in the work, like, all the professional athletes do and all the professional golfers do. I mean, you hear about Tiger Woods and like all the putts that he does and all
Yeah.
the hours that he puts in just on putts and then just on chips and just on things like that. Like, I'm only going to the driving range like what, twice a week. And, I wonder why I'm still 14. I would love to. I think I could. I have really good distances, but me not practicing as much recently here, just kind of focusing more on like the video side of it and just making cutesy fun videos instead of practicing like I used to, which was a lot more. I've seen the decline in my game, but you know, I
I guess what you're saying is that if you practice more, you'd probably be on the LPGA, and it's like but if not, you're going to be okay either way because you're having a fun time doing it right now, right?
right. And my mom's like, why don't you go pro? You should go pro. I'm like, no, it's not like it's not
Yeah,
that easy. Give me some time. I literally feel like I just started.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, my mom has like always kind of put that pressure on me though, ever since tennis, to be professional at something, because that was definitely where I was headed in tennis. And so
yeah,
she is the tennis mom. That's who she
yeah.
is. That's who she was for like 10 years almost. So she,
So was she was like King Richard, the female version of like Venus and Serena Williams?
oh, that was
Like,
my mom. That
yeah,
was literally my mom. And yeah, it was kind of, it was a lot. And I did get burnt out because of all the hours that I would put into practicing. And I literally, this is so funny. I was getting so burnt out and I was practicing like 6 hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a day in the Texas heat, like very hot. But I
yeah,
was used to it, I'm like used to it. It didn't, really bother me. But like, after so many hours every day, you're just like, geez, I want to break. So I like
yeah.
saw this perfect out to get out of it for practice because I already been there for like 2.5 hours. I'm like, I'm not feeling it today. But if I told my mom that, she would have been like, no, you're finishing. So, I knew my mom. So I had to like craft something up. So I see this ball behind me and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave that there. And so I go back, I let a couple shots, get hit to me, and then I kind of go back and I act like I rolled my ankle. And I was like, so they lay me down on the couch and then they like hand me this ice pack and I'm icing my ankle. And after like a couple minutes, I was like, what? I'm sick of this ice pack. It's like burning. Nothing really happened. And my coach was like, you need to put your rackets down and you need to go be an actor, that you're in the wrong career. You're in the wrong thing. You need to go do acting or something because you really had me. And I was like, gee.
Yeah, that's crazy that you were able to do that. Like, I know my kids are lying to me all the time on stuff like that. And I always wonder, people tell you not to push your children too much. Now you're kind of talking about that a little bit. I'm just curious, like, obviously it got you to a certain level, right? And I think that you got to almost have like a parent who's a little bit of a psychopath driver on that, because if you look at anybody who's really been good at like anything, they had a parent that was a crazy person on the other end that was pushing them hard. Like, you could go to Tiger Woods' dad, you can go to Venus and Serena Williams' dad, you could go to Andre Agassi's father. I mean, any major athlete had somebody there pushing them. Now, the other thing is, like, I talk to people and they're like, oh, I just let my kids do whatever they want. If I ask my kids what they want to do, they're not going to want to do anything. So I think that you have to, yeah, there has to be some level of like push and discipline, but also, like, I know you could get to the point where you put too much pressure. So what do you think that right middle ground is, Jeni?
Well, I think at the time, I was annoyed with my mom, and I'm
Right.
sure everybody else was who had a competitive parent like that who pushed them. But it's like at the end of the day, because of what they did and they pushed you that hard and they made you practice that much, um, there's credit to be given to them because you wouldn't have been, in that position or made it to that spot
Yeah.
without them. And that's just
Yeah.
kind of how all the greats are really made. Now, maybe a middle ground is if your kid is like saying like, I don't want to go to practice today, and they've been practicing like most of the week, give them a break. Don't force
Yeah.
them to go because then
Yeah.
that's when the kind of spite and the getting burnout comes in. If you don't get any breaks. I mean, I felt like I
Yeah.
never got a break, and it's like I didn't really ever get to be like a kid. I didn't get to go to the
Yeah.
slumber parties because my mom was so overprotective.
Yeah.
I didn't get to drink sodas like everybody else.
Yeah.
But if my mom wouldn't have done that in that aspect of tennis, I don't think I would have ever gotten into golf and been
Yeah.
so competitive in golf and wanting to be so good at golf.
Yeah. Plus, you know what it takes to get good, right? You know the
Yeah.
level. I mean, you just said it. Like when I was asking you about the LPGA, you're like, "Well, I know what I need to do, but I'm good right here, right now." So, like,
Yeah.
you know what is required to be the best. I did want to kind of finish up on a couple questions that I had for you. Um, so I know being on social media, just trying to put out good content, like for education purposes, how much hate I get. So for somebody who does some pretty cool content and you have fun with it, right? You have a good time with it. How do you deal with just the nincompoops that like are on there harassing you, for lack of a better word?
Oh yeah. So much harassment. When I first started on TikTok, I would get those hate comments and they
Right.
kind of bothered me. But then I remembered that there was a I hate LeBronJames.com. And it's like, he's LeBron James. So
Yeah.
what does it matter if y'all hate me? Because all these hate comments, y'all literally drive my engagement up. So you're actually helping me out. And it's kind of funny. It's like, you know what? Y'all are sitting behind a little computer screen and y'all are just mad. Y'all have some personal issue if you feel the need to comment something negative on somebody's post. So it literally, honestly, 100% does not bother me.
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give Jeni a 5-star review, and we'll check in the next one. Peace. Did you ever want to invest in real estate? Did you ever want to live the life of your dreams? Did you want financial freedom? We have a free Facebook group, the Millionaire Mentorship Facebook group for real estate investing. Make sure you join. The link is in the description. If you want to schedule a free call with me and my team and you actually want to start, I would suggest you do so. We have helped hundreds of people change their lives, and all they had to do was get started. They booked a call with me and my team, and they got the ball rolling. And I'm so confident that if you don't get your first or next investment property within the first 90 days, you don't pay, and I'll give you $1,000 cash. That's how confident I am. Obviously, you got to take action. You can't just do nothing and expect that to happen, but that's life. Life's all about taking action. Make sure you give this podcast a 5-star review, share it with a friend, and take action.